Good evening and welcome to Italian Impact Weekly. I am your host, Steve Stefano Mancini, and as always, I would like to thank you, my listeners, for tuning in for another exciting episode. And I would be remiss if I did not forget to acknowledge that one individual who has been religiously listening to me in Russia. So, comrade, thank you very much. And to my dozens and dozens of listeners all over the world in places like Singapore, Brazil, Australia, UK, Canada, and obviously the motherland, Italy, I want to thank you all for tuning in. And the majority of my listeners come from right here in the good old-fashioned United States and coming from you from Pittsburgh, where, again, the streams and throngs of fans are standing outside the door right now of the studio. Actually, that's a lie. But with that being said, without further ado, I have a wonderful guest today, and I think we're going to have a good time because I've heard that he does something in comedy. So we'll see if this is true or if this is just more lies. But without further ado, I'd like to welcome my guest, Vinny Fasline. Vinny, welcome to the show.
Steve, thanks for having me. It's all lies.
I know. I hear things. Vinny, first off, it was kind of surprising when you said you lived in L.A., and I saw that Pittsburgh area code. I was like, all right, maybe he's nearby, but L.A., I lived in Southern California for a bunch of years, and let me just say that I hope you like them taxes, Vinny. Ha ha. I mean, so what's it like living in L.A.?
Oh, yeah, no, it's super affordable. Yeah.
If people haven't lived there, they don't get it, but trust me, I lived there. I get it.
Calling you from my one bedroom in a stranger's garage.
That's right. No. It's a duplex. It's a duplex. That's what we call those.
Yeah. No, I mean, it is expensive, obviously. Taxes, everything about it.
Listen, I'm just giving you grief, Vinny. I'm just giving you grief because you left Pittsburgh. But you know what? Let me tell you something, and I want you to write this down. Everybody that leaves Pittsburgh, eventually they come back. Look at me. I was gone for 20-something years. And here I am. But enough about me. Vinny, let's talk about you. You are obviously from Pittsburgh. So where are you from in Pittsburgh?
I went to high school at Moon, lived there for a little while. I actually moved from Youngstown, Ohio to Pittsburgh, right in the beginning of high school. And then went to Moon High School, and then I went to IUP College and University. And then I lived in South Side, and my family in South Park. My mom's in South Park. My sisters are in the South Side. One's in Cannonsburg. But I lived in South Park and Moon for a while.
Okay, so you're right around the corner from the studio here. Once again, coming to you from Robert Morris University for my listeners here in Moon Township. So, Vinny, you were from Ohio originally, came over to Pittsburgh. Let's talk about the most important question. Are you Italian?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I mean Vinny's not a giveaway.
I know. So where's your family from in Italy? That's the biggest thing. Where's your family from in Italy?
Well, my they're a little all over. I think Naples, Calabria, Naples, Calabria area, and yeah, my dad's side was more Naples. My mom's side I thought was Calabria. I have to find out now. I can't remember. But it's mostly southern Italy is where my family was from. My mom's side, her side lives in Jersey. So, okay. And my dad's side, he was part Croatian. He was mostly Italian and Croatian. And my mom was full-blooded Italian. But Fasline is when my family came over from Italy, they shortened and took the I's and the O's off. And they took Fasolino down to Fasline so that we can all get jobs here and,
I know.
Starving artists.
I know. These gringos, man, they just can't spell Italian words because mine was Mancini, and everyone says Mancini, and they go, E must be an I or an E. And so when they came over, they replaced the I with an E, and then my grandfather actually said no, and he actually changed our name back to the original spelling, which I was very happy to do that. But it is funny because that has been a recurring theme of a lot of Italians for different reasons. Part of it was they just couldn't spell the names. And two was, to hide the fact that they were, from Italy. So it's a shame.
Yeah.
But, it is what it is. Do you, have you ever been back?
To Italy?
Yeah.
I went there once. I went there, I don't know, for the first time, maybe when I was like 30 years old. I kind of did the whole, I went everywhere, Venice, Rome, I went to Island of Capri. Man, that was cool. Yeah, I thought I was Italian, and then I show up there, and I'm like, hey, you're breaking my balls, Italian, And everyone's like, you're not Italian, yeah.
In fact, there were people like, get out.
Yeah, but no, I mean,
You mean, wait a minute, so you're telling me like Jersey Shore is not real Italians?
yeah, you'd be surprised, huh?
Huh. I figured they'd like it going in there fist pumping and acting like a fool.
Italian
Interesting.
Americans are quite different. I'll
Yeah.
tell you that.
No, you are absolutely right. And it's funny because I had a conversation with somebody that said, it's a lot of that, hey, yo, isn't Italian. That's more
Right.
like just from that area because non-Italians talk like that too.
Right,
So,
right.
but somehow we get stereotyped with it. Again, keeping our people
Yeah,
down, Vinny, keeping our people down.
I know, I know. Nobody in Ohio talk like that.
Well, I grew up, essentially in an Italian household. We didn't say, hey, yo, where's the gabagool? Like we just,
Oh,
oh, yeah. I do it now more as a joke just to aggravate people. Because
it's
what I've
funny.
learned is when people are talking and they're quiet, you go, oh, really loud. They look at you like, what the hell? And I'm like, nothing. Just figured I'd wake you up.
The old soprano trick when somebody says something offensive, huh?
Yeah, and then you say gabagool every once in a while.
Gabagool.
Which is another one that I wasn't quite, I mean, I knew it, but it's just not common, parlance. So let's talk a little bit about family in Italian. Did you actually grow up with like being conscious of, Italian traditions and quote Italianisms? Or is it like, they were Americanized and it wasn't until later in life that I figured out, we were doing something
Yeah,
that's kind
no,
of Italian?
yeah, no. I mean, it was, yeah, it's as Italian as it gets. I mean, we did the seven fishes on Christmas Eve. We still do. Yeah, it's a big part of our identity as a family. It's all about eating and fighting with each other. So that sounds about right. And yeah, I mean, this is definitely a big part of my culture for sure. My parents, were always. I mean, it was stereotypical. I mean, grew up Catholic and always had pasta on Sundays, and very passionate family, very, very big family, and close family. And that's what I think a lot of Italians are like. Family's most important. So, yeah.
And I definitely see that, and a lot of people have said the same thing, and that's why I think I'm kind of like I don't know, a bastard stepchild or something, because I'm like, so it's important. The other thing is the seven fishes. We had fish, but we didn't have seven. Again, that was something I learned later in life. I don't know if that's an Italian American thing, or maybe there is a geographic area in Italy that does that. But we didn't do seven fishes. Now, my grandmother definitely did smelt, and what is it, baklava? What is that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Bacala salad.
Yeah, and so there, and I was telling you, and spaghetti and tuna fish was another one.
Oh wow.
But it wasn't seven fishes lined up, like in this kind of like like a buffet type thing. Let me kind of like fast forward then a little bit. So does that culture play into your career, which we're going to kind of jump into now? Is tell me a little bit about what you do and what led you down this path, and was that a result of your family upbringing, or is that just a coincidence?
I would say it doesn't. It kind of my family pushing me into comedy is maybe what got me into my career. But I mean it doesn't play a lot into what I do. I do stand-up comedy. I act. I write. I produce. I have a podcast. I've been doing stand-up comedy 15 years, professional for 7. Started in Pittsburgh when I was 16. The story is, I'll run through it fast because I pretty much tell the same story on every podcast when they ask. But I had a brain tumor when I was a kid, when I was around 14, and I couldn't do sports. So when I moved to Pittsburgh, everyone was playing sports, and I couldn't do anything. And my mom pushed me into a comedy class. She always just used to think I was funny. My only fan, really. And
funny how?
I'm
sorry, I had to go there.
What'd you say?
I said funny how, but don't worry about
yeah. Still my only fan. No, but my mom lied about my age to get me into a stand-up comedy class at CCAC. Said I was 18, and I think they knew, but she snuck me into that, signed me up. I did a class, and at the end of the class, it was like, go do an open mic with the class, and I thought that was fun. It was kind of just like a little, I can't really play sports. This is what I'm going to try. And I loved it. So then I did one more show when I was 18. I did a competition in like Beaver, Pennsylvania, which I won. And I mean, it was Beaver, so there wasn't too many people to beat.
I was going to say, that's a real hotbed of comedy, but go ahead.
Yeah. And then I thought maybe I should be doing this, but I went to college. I didn't really do it, I didn't really do it in college. And then after college, I go, why didn't I do that? I should do that more. So I started going to the open mics at the Funny Bone and the Pittsburgh Improv until eventually I got the opportunity. Ironically, my first weekend, the first guy I ever got to open for was Sebastian Maniscalco. So talk about comedy. That was my first full weekend. I was a big fan, and they called me and they were like, "You're going to open for Sebastian," which I love. And my mom made him meatballs. We made him dinner. Every single time I see Sebastian today, like I still see him. He lives in L.A. He always asks me, "How's your mother doing? How's your mother doing?" He'll always ask me that. So it's just he's a great Italian comic as well, and it's a small community. But yeah, so that was my first weekend, and then I did a couple years in Pittsburgh, opening for a bunch of people, and then I moved to LA in 2012, where I've been doing stand-up here for quite some time. I've had the opportunity to tour with a bunch of big names, and I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff now. So
now, you said you went to IUP. What did you actually major? I'm curious. Was this your career path that you envisioned, or was it like, I like it, it's fun, but I'm going to go be an XYZ? What were you actually studying? What were you expecting?
Well, we didn't really have money. I paid for college on my own, and I took a safe route of going to school for marketing. Because I just said, all right, let's go to an affordable school at the time. IUP was, which ironically, like you could just Google universities that offer free education. I probably could have went to the University of Alabama for free. Like certain colleges did that. I didn't even know. And then went to IUP and just took the safe route for marketing, and just thought business was a safe degree to get. So I had a good time. Yeah.
The irony is you thought marketing was safe. I would have, if you would have asked me about a marketing degree, I would have said, who the hell's going to hire somebody with a marketing degree? There's, that's just ironic that you said that you thought that was a safe degree. When you said safe, I thought you were going to tell me, I was going to get in computers or, something, but, okay.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, business, I don't know. Business was a safe degree. It's just like, it was easier to get into. I actually was going to get into communications. I thought that was interesting. Here's a fun story. I remember I was in high school, and you know how sometimes they get these speakers that come in to try to, like, sway you to go to their college? So I wanted to go to communications. I wanted to go to school for communications, and they had, like, I don't know, ITT Tech or some, like, I can't remember. It was some university. It was a business school, and they came in and they were just giving you facts on here's how many jobs are offered in communications, and here's many are offered in business, stuff like that. So they swayed me. They like scared me from taking a communications degree, and I went to school for business. I did not go to that school, which was like, whatever it was. It was a local business school in Pittsburgh.
Was it RMU? Because we're known for business.
No, it wasn't Robert. It wasn't Rob Morris. It was something else. Man, I wish I remembered. But the funny part is, it was just some guy just trying to sell you to go to their school, right? So go to IUP, graduated with a marketing degree. My first interview out of college was that job, that specific job that guy did. On the way to the interview, I got in a car accident. Somebody hit me from behind. I was really rattled. I still went to the interview, and in the interview, I'm a speaker. I was a stand-up, I already tried stand. It's not really hard. I don't get nervous, but I was in this interview, and I was like really shaken up. And they're like, I just said, sorry guys, I just had a car accident. They're like, do you wanna just reschedule? I said, no, I'm here. Let's do it. And I didn't do well because I was so like shaken up, but I really would have done well at that job. And the irony is, because I'm so glad I didn't do that, because I would have been, I got back into, I've been doing communications and stand-up and chasing my dreams, and it's like, here I would have been the guy swaying people away from what they really want to do, almost a blessing.
No, I'm going to say, I'm going to ask you about that, because you know what I've noticed in the last few episodes is what I don't want to use the word divine intervention, but almost like something happens and you read the tea leaves right. Hold that thought, though, because I want to pay the bills. Folks, I will be right back. Thanks to Greater Pittsburgh Travel. For any of your travel needs, let Tom and the team at Greater Pittsburgh Travel know, and they'll take care of you. For more information, call 412-331-2244 or visit their website at www.greaterpittsburghtravel.com. For all of your plumbing needs, be sure to try Palucci Plumbing. Nick and the team have decades of experience and will get you back up and running. For more information, call Palucci Plumbing at 412-782-5050. And we want to thank the Calabria Club of Pittsburgh. If you're interested in learning more, you can find their contact information on Facebook at Calabria Club of Pittsburgh. Again, thanks Domenica and the team at the Calabria Club of Pittsburgh for your support. And we want to thank La Scuola d'Italia Galileo Galilei, the only nonprofit school in Pittsburgh endorsed by the Italian Consulate. If you're interested in learning Italian or have your children being immersed in the Italian culture and language, be sure to give them a call at 412-404-7070. And that's La Scuola d'Italia Galileo Galilei. We'd also like to thank Chris Gonzalez from the Knights of Columbus. If you have any questions about joining the Knights of Columbus, reach out to Chris Gonzalez at 412-605-9074. All right, welcome back. All right, Vinny, I'm going to pick up here because there's a very interesting kind of theme I've been seeing in a lot of people that are not just successful, but happily successful. By the way, I'm going to assume you're happy. Sometimes comedians aren't the happiest people in the world.
Your assumptions are wrong.
Right? Well, I'll tell you what, hold that one for a second. We'll come back to that one. But, what I've seen is a lot of people said, I was going to do this or I was thinking of that. And then something happens. And instead of kind of forcing themselves on the same path they were on, they took the something and switched gears. And now they're where they are. In your case, it's kind of like, it almost sounds like, hey, if this car crash doesn't happen, I might actually be doing well, get this job and be working here. And now this part of my life doesn't happen. Do you ever think like that? I mean, that it's more than coincidence.
Yeah, no, I'm sure everybody thinks like that. I don't know.
I don't know. Some people are just going through life as zombies, to be honest with you. So
yeah, true.
But I mean,
I don't know.
You ever look back though and say, this was actually what I'm supposed to be doing?
Yeah, some things happen for a reason. I mean, I always wanted to get in entertainment. And yeah, I don't know. I've always loved it, and now I'm doing it. I mean, I was one of those people that I have a philosophy that sometimes, it's not to speak it into existence either, but it's also, you ever just tell people you're going to do something, and at some point you don't even know if you want to go do it, but you've told everybody that you're going to do it, so you're like I got to do it now. I was telling everybody, I was like, man, I'm gonna move to LA to be a comedian. I'm gonna move to LA and be a comedian. And I told so many people that if I didn't do it, I would have looked like a complete idiot,
right. Just another person, right? I get it.
I almost like sometimes I do that. I go, I'm gonna do this thing, just so that it's not even speaking into existence. It's like, oh, I got to do it now.
Well, it's funny. What's funny you say that, because it's almost like you're almost like saying, look, I'm not going to go back on my word. Like I told these people I'm going to do it, and I don't want to look like a fool. And so, if I said I'm going to go to LA and be a comedian, shoot, now I got to go to LA and be a comedian. Otherwise, you get hey, I thought you were going to go to LA and become a comedian. Guess you get, you're like, you don't want to hear it. So you go and just do it just to make sure that nobody can ever say that, well, I thought you were going to do this. Because I'm the same way. And that's the worst part about what I find myself running into is I keep saying, sure, I'm going to do that. Yeah, I want to do that. And the minute I tell somebody, it's like, damn it. Now it's a checklist item on my to-dos of life because I've told somebody. I totally get what you just said there, by the way. And it's a great way to get yourself into trouble.
Yeah, sure. Of course.
But of course, you're in LA. So, you're doing what you said you were going to do. I assume this is what you wanted to do, though. Yeah.
I mean, after I took that comedy class, I won that competition. I was just like, oh, I got to do this. And I've done it, I've reached a lot of my dreams, so far. I mean, I have experiences that I never would have dreamed of,
Now, you said you produce, right, and, you've gone to other facets beyond just standing in front of a microphone. Let me ask you, is that a lot of, what was the impetus to get there? Besides saying, I want to be in the entertainment business, was there something that said, I have this project I want to do, and then that kind of set this chain of events into motion, or was this kind of part of the plan all along?
Well, when I was a kid, I wanted to be an actor before I knew about stand-up.
Right.
So that was the first goal, and then I learned about stand-up, and that was it, right? So then I moved out here, and I made a bazillion of connections, and I still wanted to act. So I'm starting to act now. I booked a couple movies I shoot next year and stuff like that. Listen, you hear these people honking out here?
Yes, I do.
Should I give them the gabagoo?
Shut up!
Yeah. Oh, that's LA for you. But yeah, so I don't know. I always wanted to act. So yeah, I started pitching some shows so that I could, I write. You start writing not only stand up but jokes and scripts, and then pitch shows, and then auditions. And the business has changed too. So now you got to do social media. You got to have a podcast. So it's not everything I signed up for. I had a different vision in my mind, and if I knew where it was going to go, it would have scared me from doing it. Like I would have done things differently, and because everything's changed. Yeah.
Let me ask you that, because 50 years ago, and like I'm not a Hollywood anything, but 50 years ago, there wasn't social media. There wasn't the internet. There wasn't streaming services. It was, you get signed, you're in the film, you get paid, film goes to theaters, and then, with the advent of, VHS tapes, it goes to VHS after it's been in the theaters for a long time, and eventually, go to DVD and Blu-ray, and then we've gotten away from that, and now everything's streaming. Most things don't even go to theater anymore if you really step back and see how much stuff is being released, including movies. It's going right to streaming. There was a time when things went to, right to video. It's because they stunk, and they weren't going to make any money in the theaters. They said, this is going to be a bomb. We're just going to put it on VHS and send it right to the rental stores. But now that's not the case. Do you find that you are more empowered with this kind of decentralized approach to entertainment? Because now you're not beholden to anybody. You can go and make your own films, throw them on the streaming services, control your own social media, do your own podcast. You don't need to sign with anyone. Yes and no. I had this conversation with a friend of mine who's actually a big-time director, producer. His name's Mike Binder. He was, big actor, producer. He did a whole bunch of movies, directed a whole bunch of movies. He's directing another one that I'm in next year. But we were talking about this last night. I mean, stand-up, I'll touch 2 points, because stand-up comedy and the film business are a little bit different. But yeah, it used to be all about gatekeepers, and these gatekeepers had the power to make your career or not. So that sucked, but it could be cool. But now you take away the equation of gatekeepers, it's social media. You can create your own career, but it's also so much more work, and you still have the gatekeeper of algorithm as well. Like there has to be a consistency. You have to, and you don't know if you're going to break or not, like with even on the internet. So now you're pushing this and you're working hard, and now I got to be on 10 different social media platforms, and you do it for free, and you're working I think there's more work that goes into that than it, and you have to do it for a long time to hope to make money. So I don't know. It's a tricky thing in the film business. We were talking about this last night. It's changed. You got to pivot. The film business producers aren't making the same amount of money. Movies aren't being, there's no residuals anymore. It's you got straight to streaming, like you said, and it's so different. There's so much content. You could be the lead in a movie and nobody knows who you are anymore. Yeah. So, no, that's right. There's so much stuff out there. I can't keep track of all this stuff. And everyone said, you gotta go watch this. You should watch this series. I'm like, I never heard of it. And they're like, it's great. And you're like, If I wanted to go watch every series that people said, this is great, you need to watch it, I would literally be in front of the TV 24/7. Now, there are people who dream of that. I'm not one of them. And so you're just not going to see it. Yeah. Now, with that being said, though, please don't forget my new documentary will be out. I'm sorry, I just had to go there. A little self-promotion there. But congratulations on it. I saw it. Looks great. I like your attitude. That's why you're on the show. If you had a bad attitude and said it sucked, you wouldn't be here. No, I'm just kidding. Or am I? But I'll tell you what, but to that point, because I want to circle back to something. 20 years ago, I could not have done a full feature, documentary. I just couldn't have done it for a lot of reasons. The technology wasn't there, money, support, etc. Nowadays, with the technology, I mean, you could go get a couple of cameras, some lenses, and literally film something in high-def digital that rivals Hollywood. You may not have all the graphics and all that, but even now with the software, the way it works, and the way the editing software works, I mean, it really put a lot of power in your hands now to do these things. And it really does come down to, do you have a good story? Because, and you hit something else, those algorithms are everything. That explains why that guy in Russia is finding me, and apparently a few folks in America aren't. There is something to be said about, I do in a way control my own destiny. At the same time, if you're a nobody, and I'll be honest, I'm a nobody, nobody's going to find you because you're just overshadowed without those gatekeepers, because they can make stars of anybody, even what I think is a lot of mediocre talent, at best, and a lot of, to your point, major films. You're going, who casted this? Who wrote this? Who produced this? They're just not very good anymore. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of politics in it, and it's like I said, it's all changed. I like the fact that you could put yourself out there without counting on it. But I also, to my other point, was the stand-up side was back in the day. You did stand-up. You got into the big comedy clubs like I do, and you eventually got on, the Tonight Show, and then you became Jerry Seinfeld or Eddie Murphy, right? And then it was get a Comedy Central special, and you became Dane Cook, or then it was like, you saved it all. But now I have friends that have been on the Tonight Show 10 times and nobody knows who they are, right? So it's a different beast now. I wish, my friend Matt Rife that blew up from the internet, he same thing. He was just posting clips. I should have just putting out the content myself, years ago before it was cool. And now it's like everyone's doing it, right? So I think it all changes. I do think there's an opportunity for everybody to put content out there and make it on their own without people deciding. You do have to put in a lot of work. That's the difference and there's a possibility that you do a lot of work and it just doesn't hit how you want it to. But yeah, as far as TV and film goes too, it's just, there's so much content and there's.
Well, I was going to say, do you think it's saturated yet?
No, yeah, it's oversaturated. Everything's oversaturated. We are, all we do is consume, and it's sad. That's kind of what it is. But it's, you could be. I saw a podcast or somebody just said something the other day that I thought was interesting. He said you could be a consumer or you could be a producer, and he doesn't mean in the entertainment business. He just means in general,
right?
Whether it's consuming television or consuming products or whatever, or you could be the producer of, hey, I'm going to make my own content or I'm going to make my own business rather than just feed other people's businesses. And I just think that's super interesting because, why not just...
That's the doers. Yeah, that's what I call them, the doers. There's the people that do, and there's everyone else. And but I do think, too, that... Look, this is a reality. Most people, when they get into this career field, they're looking for one reason. They want to get rich. They think this is a get rich. They go, I got talent. I can do that. I'm going to go get rich. So I'm just going to go into I'm going to become an actor. I'm going to become a producer. I'm going to get rich. What do you tell people like that?
You can make money, and the money's not going to make you happy either, but I don't even think they're doing it to get rich. I think most of the people that put content out, what happens is it's an addiction, right? Like somebody will post a video from Iowa and it does well, and you get an adrenaline rush. You get a high from the views and the follows. Oh my God, look at all these people. Look at me. You get a sense of importance, and you get a sense of a taste of a second of fame from the middle of nowhere. It gives an opportunity for people to see it. I have a lot of friends that are famous social media people, and it's also a business that'll mess with you, mentally, and it gets exhausting, and I hate it. But I don't like social media. I don't at all. I just have to do it. But I think people do it more so because they like the attention, and you get
instant celebrity.
You get to feel what it's like, and and a lot of people do stuff also for money, but I think social media is more geared from the majority of the population. I feel like they get the high.
Right. Well, and not only that, but it's like instant idiot, just add cell phone, because, and the worst part, they're willing to do anything. And I think that's what really bothers me because, I do not spend all day on social media at all. In fact, I'm like you, I hate social media. I think it's the stupidest. People should not have access to something to advertise that spur of the moment, because there's not one person who's over 30 that doesn't say, God, thank God there were no cameras back then or whatever. because we've all done that one dumb thing. The problem now is when you do that one dumb thing, it's like peeing in the pool. You don't get it back. It's gone. It's out there. You can't drain the pool to get it out of there. So if you put yourself out there, and let's say you're 16, 17, 18, 19 years old and you do something really stupid, but, hey, it got me, 100,000 likes. The problem is, let's say 5 years down the road, now you're trying to be serious when you were going for a job, and they're going to see, you at the bong party smoking a doobie, falling through a roof that got 100,000 likes. It's like, yeah, I'm not hiring you. And people aren't told that other side of it. To your point, they just see the instant, like, I'm a celebrity, instant celebrity, and all I got to do is this. I hate social media. I only use it to advertise this podcast and whatever I might be working on it, like the documentary, for example. Otherwise, I can't do those little things just for the sake of getting likes. It's just not worth it to me. It's not worth the energy, and I don't feel like I'm adding anything good. It doesn't mean entertainment is bad, but I do think there's a fine line between entertainment and what I'll call reckless entertainment.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, sad part about it is it's not always about great content. It is about consistency. That's the only thing that, really can help with an algorithm is they want quantity. They punish you for missing. Like, I have friends that are like, I missed a day and my numbers dropped after a day. It's crazy what they can do. You can't take off a sick day. You can't take off vacation days. It's like you have to consistently be posted. Same with your podcast. You're never going to build it if you don't post consistently. That's the problem that we've had with ours was we've taken breaks. I went on tour. My co-host was working on a project.
And you're forgotten.
So just you got to stay with it consistently, and you can't take breaks.
Well, I hate to say it in a funny way, but it's kind of like the life we've chosen. Now, the good news is, unlike you, I don't say this like in a mean way, is it's not the full-time career I want, but I just enjoy doing this. I like having a podcast, I like meeting folks like yourself, and the fact that anybody listens to me is like, I'm like, whoa, like there's somebody downloading my show. I just think that's cool. But at the same time, I couldn't imagine being like you where this is, and I don't say like in a mean way, but it's like it takes a commitment. I don't think people appreciate the work you're probably putting into this, to make this into a living, and I think people they miss that. They think it's it's entertainment. It's easy. It's like, yeah, you're competing against how many other people? And let's be realistic. Every comedian out there is probably your competition in one way, shape, or another.
Oh, yeah. It's crazy. And it's like I said, it's not even about great content anymore. People are just posting stuff, and it's eyes. It's people seeing it and knowing, oh, I see that person consistently.
Well, it's swipes, that's for sure. Now, let's talk about what you've got going on now and what's coming down the pike for you.
Well, okay. Stand-up comedy. I'll probably be touring. I was touring a bit. I was touring earlier with Joe Coy this year, and so I'm probably going to do and Drew Lynch. I used to tour with a bunch of people. Now I'm touring a little more on my own. I have a podcast called My Plus One. We have celebrity guests, and they bring a plus one, and it's about the relationship, not about their career. And we get massive guests. We've had Tiffany Haddish. We've had Seth Green. We've had John Stamos, Howie Mandel.
Hey, I've heard of these people. These are real people.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool, and we're going to get some more big guests. I shot a stand-up series that should be somewhere streaming. They're taking around. I produced a show that I was in called High Spirits. Celebrities get high and tell ghost stories. That'll probably be out on Netflix or Hulu. That one's going to be great. I'm gonna act in 2 movies coming up. One of them's going to be really big. It's about the birth of Alcohol Anonymous, and it's got like the star cast. Like it might even be Oscar worthy. It's insane.
Nice,
got Chris Rock and Alec Baldwin and Tim Allen, a bunch of people.
Alec Baldwin. All right.
Yeah.
Too soon? Nuts, but I guess not.
I am pitching a TV show in talks with Happy Madison for that, and just. It's a lot of stuff. Who knows? Some of it may fall through, but it's all those things are moving along and happening. So I'm excited. But it's all doing all that stuff. But social media is another thing that I have to really commit to more, and been doing it. So that's all the stuff going on. There's some more in there, I'm sure.
Now, if folks want to find you, follow you, where can they go? And I'll put that in the description, folks, so you can check out the description below. But let's hear your voice. Let's hear the sultry voice of a comedian out in L.A. Tell me where I can find them.
Yeah, well, I usually go down to Starbucks in the morning on Fairfax and Sunset.
We all got to pay our dues.
Yeah. No, all the social media stuff is Vinny Fasline, Fasline, Vinny with a Y. Hopefully I come do comedy in your city. If not, you could just follow me and you'll see me on social media and television soon. So
awesome, man. Well, no, that's actually really awesome. And you know what? I do wish you the best of luck. I've only known you for a short time. It's been great talking with you. And by the way, for the listeners, I mean, short time doesn't mean the last 35 minutes, a little bit longer than that. But it's been great talking to you. It's been great to get to know you. I can't wait till you come back to Pittsburgh. Look me up. I'll buy you the beverage of your choice as long as it's under $4. Would love to see you kind of perform. And I encourage everyone to go check out Vinny. He's not quite a Pittsburgh guy, but he's close enough. But you know what? He's a Paisan, and that's all that matters. That's what this show is about, folks. So, Vinny, thank you very much for being on the show. I do appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me, Steve. Good luck to you. Congrats on the documentary.
Thanks, buddy. And again, good luck to you. And I really am looking forward to seeing you on the big screen. And folks, that about does it for this episode. I want to thank you all for tuning in. As always, I want to thank my international listeners because I think that's pretty cool that everybody all over the world is tuning in to just little old me. And as always, I want to wish you the best week. Have a wonderful rest of your day. God bless you, and we'll see you next time.